Okay, good day, class. No? Last meeting we have discussed reading number three, no? And we have learned how science and technology, affect nation building. We have discussed several programs of the past presidents, and of course, noteworthy Filipino inventors, okay, and their inventions and contributions to our nation. Okay, this time we will discuss reading number four, the human person flourishing in terms of science and technology. Okay, so our objectives for this meeting is to discuss, the steps in scientific method, explain the concepts of human flourishing and their importance for the common good. Okay, and of course, present some examples for it. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so what is happiness? Okay, so uh, what is really happiness? Okay, for you, no, maybe it's on getting high grades. Okay, maybe getting into a relationship. Okay, so having a good life, no? What is happiness? Okay, so in psychology, happiness is a mental or emotional state of well-being. Okay, so it can be defined, no, positive or pleasant emotions. Okay, so ranging from contentment, okay, or to intense joy. Okay, so for behaviorists, happiness is a cocktail of emotions, no, we experience when we do something good or positive. Okay, so for neurologists, happiness is the experience of flood of hormones. Okay, so release in the brain. Okay, so it is a reward for behavior that prolongs survival. Okay, so is happiness a destination or a journey? Okay, so which of which, no? So is it your last stop, no? Or you can achieve happiness. You should achieve happiness throughout your journey. Okay, so the hedonistic view of well-being is that happiness is the polar opposite of suffering. Okay, so the presence of happiness indicates the absence of pain. Okay, so because of this, hedonists believe that the purpose of life is to maximize happiness. Okay, so which minimizes, of course, the pain or the misery. Okay, so you have this term called eudaimonia, no? So it is a Greek word, no, for good and spirit. Okay, so eudaimonia defines happiness as the pursuit of becoming a better person. Okay, so eudaimonists do this by challenging themselves intellectually or engaging in activities to make them spiritually richer people. Okay, so remember the term eudaimonia. Okay, so daimonia, no, meaning good spirit. Okay, so this is coined by Aristotle, so a Greek philosopher. So he describes it as the pinnacle of happiness, okay, that can be attained by humans, or eudaimonia can be also coined as human flourishing. Okay, so look at this figure, no? So we have this hedonia, no, meaning feels good, okay, and then eudaimonia meaning your purpose, okay. So we have this at the lower end, no, lower left. So you have the void life, okay. So meaning uh, you don't feel good, no, and you don't really know your purpose, okay. So that's called you void life, okay. So at the top, no, it is the sweet life, okay. So meaning you really feel good, but your life, no, don't have any purpose, okay. So we have also your dry life, okay. So you have found your purpose, no? But you don't feel so good. Okay? And of course, your fulfilling life, no? The fulfilled life, no? So you maximize your hedonia and eudaimonia. Okay? So this is the image of Aristotle. Okay? So from this Nicomachean ethics, okay? So meaning philosophical inquiry into the nature of good life. Okay, so humans flourish, no, arising from as a result of different components. Okay, so we have four. No, first is phronesis. Okay, so what is this phronesis? Okay, so it is the habit of making right decisions. Okay, friendship number two. Number three is wealth. Okay, number four is power. Okay, so human can flourish if you have these four components. Okay, so wealth, friendship, power, and of course your phronesis, no, making right decisions. Okay, so in ancient Greek society, no, they believe that acquiring this, no, will surely bring happiness. Okay, so which in effect, no, it allows them to partake in the greater notion of what we call the good. Okay, so as time changes, okay, elements that comprise human flourishing changes. Okay, so people found means to live more comfortably, no, explore places, develop more products, and of course make more money. Okay, so competitions is a means of survival, no. Okay, so coordination is becoming a new trend. Okay, so we have also your Eastern versus Western conception, no. So you have a different perception, no, regarding human flourishing today. Okay, let's look. So for the Eastern perception, no, we have their focus is community centric. Okay, so the individual should sacrifice himself for the sake of society. Okay, so we have your Chinese Confucian system, we have your Japanese Bushido. Okay, so the Eastern conception, no, encourages studies of literature, sciences, and art, no, for greater cause. Okay, let us look at our Western counterpart. Okay, so the Western counterpart, no, is more focused on the individual. Okay, so human flourishing is an end. Okay, so it has this Aristotelian view. Okay, also aims for eudaimonia as the ultimate good. Okay, so science, technology, and human flourishing. No, how does this three uh, interact? Okay, so every discovery, no, innovation, and success contributes to our pool of human knowledge. Okay, so humans' perpetual need to locate himself in the world, no, by finding proofs or to trace evolution. Okay, so it elicits our idea of self-importance. Okay, so technology, no, is a human activity we excel in as a result of achieving science. Okay, so the good, no, is inherently related to the truth. Okay, so we have this science as methods and results. No, we have science stems from objectivity. Okay, so it is brought by a rigid method. Okay, so science claim to reason, no, and empiricism. Okay, so I'm sure you are familiar, no, with the steps in scientific method. Okay, so we have the following steps. First would be to observe. Number two is determine the problem. No? Number three is formulate the hypothesis. Number four is conduct experiment. Number five is gather and analyze. No? Number six is of course your conclusion. Okay, so let us further discuss this scientific method. Okay, so scientific method involves series of steps. Okay, so I have said those steps, no, and they are used to investigate a natural occurrence. Okay, so you have those steps. Okay, so the first step would be your uh, problem, no, or question. So you have to develop a question or a problem, no, that can be solved through experimentation. Okay. Number two would be to make observations and research your topic of interest. Okay. Number three would be formulate an educated guess or a hypothesis, no. So possibly predict, no, an answer to your question. Okay. For example, if soil temperatures rise, no, then the plant growth will increase. Okay, so this is an example of a hypothesis. Okay, so an educated guess. Okay, number four would be to develop a procedure. No, include your materials, your detailed needs, and then the outcome should be quantifiable. Okay, number five would be to collect and analyze your data. Okay. So confirm the results, no, by doing trials, no, several trials. Okay, put it in tables, graphs, and possibly images. Okay. So number six would be to draw a conclusion, no, based from your results. No. So include a statement to either accept your hypothesis or reject your hypothesis. Okay. So you can make recommendations, no, for further studies. Okay. Number last, no, step would be to, of course, communicate your results, no, to publish your research. Okay, so let us try, no, your knowledge in a scientific method. Okay, so we have a problem here, no. John watches his grandmother bake bread, no. He asks his grandmother what makes the bread rise. So she explains that the yeast releases a gas as it feeds on the sugar. Okay. So John wonders, no, if the amount of sugar used in the recipe, no, will affect the size of the bread loaf. Okay. So the next step would be, of course, to observe. No, John researches the areas of baking and fermentation. Okay. So he tries to come up with a way to test his question. Okay. So what is his problem? No. So John, no, wonders if the amount of sugar used in the recipe will affect the size of the bread loaf. So what is the effect of amount of sugar on the size of bread loaf? So that's his problem. Okay. So he did the research, no, by reading journals. Okay. So after that, okay, so he has a thought of a hypothesis. Okay, so after talking with his teacher, no, conducting further research, he has come up with this hypothesis. So if more sugar is added, then the bread will rise higher. Okay, so that's his educated guess, no, a prediction. So the hypothesis, no, is an educated guess about the relationship of two variables. Okay, so one variable is called independent variable and the other is called dependent variable. Okay, so these variables will be discussed. Okay, so what do we mean by independent variable? Okay, so from the word independent, no, so the independent is the manipulated variable. Okay, so this will not depend on other variables. Okay, so this is the one that you manipulate. Okay, so you change its value, and all the other variables will course, correspond, no, or depend on the changes that you made from this variable. Okay, so for example, no, in John's case, so the independent variable would be the sugar, the amount of sugar. Okay, so John is going to use different amounts of sugar, okay, in his experiment. Okay, so that's uh, the independent variable. Okay? So the dependent variable, no, from the word dependent, no. Okay, so this variable, no, will respond, no, to the change that you made on the independent variable. Okay, so in this case, it is the size of the loaf of bread. Okay, so we also have what you call control group, no. So in every experiment, you have your control group. So control group be uh, will serve, no, as a standard of comparison. So control group will mean no treatment. Okay, so wala kang gagawin. So this is the constant part. Okay, so the control group, no, for uh, is exposed, no, to the same conditions, no, as the experimental group, no, except for the variable being tested. Okay, so you should have a control group, no, in all of experiments. Okay, so for this uh, experiment that John will make, no, the control group would be the 50 grams of sugar that his grandmother always uses. Okay, so John is going to use that as his control group, no, as a basis, no. Okay, so constants, we also have what you call constants, no. So all other factors, no, stay the same. Okay, so the only one that will change, no, is the independent variable, no, where you manipulate the amount of sugar, and the dependent variable where the size of the loaf of bread, no, will depend on the amount of sugar. Okay, so what will be these are the constants, no, on this experiment, no. So uh, one of which are the bread recipe. Okay, so you don't change the recipes. So the oven use, no, same oven. Rice time, brand of ingredients, no, same brands. Cooking time, type of pan used, air temperature, humidity, oven temperature, and of course your yeast age. Okay, so these are some examples of the constants. Okay, so all other factors are constants, no. So the two variables are the only ones that will change. Okay, then after doing, no, uh, devising a procedure, of course you will have your experiment already. Okay, so you do trials. Okay, so what do we mean by trials, no? Trials are the replicate groups. Okay, so these are exposed, no, to the same conditions in experiment. Okay, so John is going to test each sugar variable. Okay, so you have that 50 until 500, no. So John will test all the sugars, no, three times each amount. Okay, so after having the experiment, of course, you have to collect the data and analyze it. Okay, so come up with a table to record all of the data, and of course, analyze it after. Okay, okay. So after after that, of course, uh, John will have his conclusion. Okay, so John examines, no, John examines his data, and he notices that his control, no, worked the best in this experiment. Okay, but not significantly better than 100 grams of sugar. Okay, so remember that the control group is 50 grams. Okay, so 100 grams is the better one. Okay, so therefore, John has this conclusion. No, he rejects his hypothesis. Okay, but he decided, no, to redo the experiment between 50 and 100 grams. Okay, so John finds that 70 grams of sugar produces the largest loaf. No, okay, so his hypothesis is then accepted. Okay, so the first hypothesis is not is rejected. No, and then he redid, no, his scientific method, no, and I decided to test between 50 grams and 100 grams only. Okay, then he found out that 70 grams works the best. Okay, so we have a little practice, no, for scientific method, no. So the next slide would be about Bart Simpson scenario. Okay, so this is the problem, no? Bart Simpson believes that mice exposed to microwaves will become extra strong. Okay, so that is his hypothesis, no? So he decides to perform this experiment, no, by placing 10 mice in a microwave for 10 seconds. Okay, so he compared these 10 mice to another 10 mice that had not been exposed. Okay, so this is his control group, no? This is the uh, experiment. Okay, so his test consisted of heavy block of food, no, that blocked the mouse food. Okay, then he found out that 8 of 10 microwave mice, no, were able to push the block away. Okay, so that's his results, no. 7 out of 10 uh, non-microwave mice were able to do the same. Okay, so what was Bart's hypothesis? Okay, so it's the first one, no? Identify the control group, no? We have identified it. And then identify the independent and dependent variable. So remember that independent means manipulated. Okay, so the one he manipulated would be the mice exposed to microwaves. Okay, so and the dependent variable would be uh, the strength, no, strength of the mouse. Okay, so what might be the sum of the possible constant? Okay, so the microwave, no, the brand of the microwave, the time that he exposed uh, the mice, no, on the microwave. Okay, so and the species of mice, no. So those are some of the constants. Okay, what should be Bart's conclusion be, no? So his results, no, 8 out of 10 microwave, no, were able to push the block away. 7 out of 10, no, microwave mice were able to do the same. Okay, so we have a one you have a difference, no, of only one mice. Okay, so possibly, no, possibly it affected the mice, or not really, no, kasi we have only one mice difference. Okay, so the we might not have any conclusive evidence, no, that microwave mice is getting stronger. Okay, so that is one possible conclusion. Okay, so maybe it affected them, no, kasi we have one mice difference, or maybe it doesn't affect them kasi it's only one, no. Possibly kapag four, no, yung difference nila, may microwave mice is getting stronger, no. Pero ito lang kasi ay isa lang, no. Okay? Yan. Okay, so microwave exposure does not significantly change the strength of mice. Okay? Same is true with what we said, no? Kasi isa lang yung difference, no? So meaning uh, they are not microwave, no, does not affect the strength of mice. Okay, so all our answers are correct, no. Okay, so that's it, no, for our reading number 4. No, we have achieved, no, our objectives, no. We have discussed the scientific method. Of course, we have also explained the concepts of human flourishing, no, and their importance to common good. Okay, so I'll see you again, no, next meeting, no, and we will discuss our reading number 5. Okay. So I have to remind you that we have an assignment, of course, no. So we have this application, no, to answer. Okay. So again, we have a 1 week deadline here for this, no. It's uploaded in our Schoology platform. Okay. So do answer it within the deadline.